37 rounds over. From the looks of it, it seems to be drawing to an end because there's not been too much of activity seen in the 900 band for the last 2 days. Is that how you would assess the current state of the auctions?
Well, on a very light note, I think all operators have been very busy trying to prove the CAG figures right, it seems. Um, the auction figures are looking high by any stretch of imagination, but I think I'm not worried now about what has happened. It's a spilt milk from all perspectives. I think what needs to be washed out now is what is going to be the strategy of the operators to recover it through a price rise, because price rise seems absolutely imminent and there is no other way out. Second, how quickly will they begin to refarm this expensive spectrum to move to IP based technologies rather than TDM or GSM technologies? I don't believe anybody will buy such an expensive spectrum and then put it to use on a 2G technology or TDM technology. It is not going to yield the results that they are looking for. And finally, given the sort of thrust on 1800 and 800 outside 900, are we looking at probably skipping the 3G generation in the country and moving straight to 4G? Because the response to 2.1 gigahertz has been very lackluster, and either everybody is waiting for 3 more slots to come in later, or by then they would have deployed enough monies behind 4G and say let's skip 3G altogether and move to 4G going ahead. So to me these 3 things are more vital than be worried about the price that has been discovered, because the auction process and the design was absolutely destined in this direction to make the auctions dear, and that's what's come out to be true.
Fair point. Romal, what's been your reading? Because the 900 band premium reached 86% over the reserve price. Is this in line with your expectations? Telecom stocks saw a sharp rebound after reports that, activity level in 900 band reached 100%. Are investors correct in being relieved?
So see, I think 900, one of the issues is also where licenses were expiring. So wherever licenses were expiring, obviously the operators had to hold on to that ground. I mean, it was going to be difficult to, for example, give up that and then maybe shift to another band. That would have been very, very disruptive. So I think 900, yes, it is pretty much. Hopefully, it is over. I hope it is over, to be honest, because that's what has really led to a rise in these auctions. And you can see now 800 and 1800, just like Sanjay was mentioning, where there seems to be interest, which seems to have built up. So hopefully 900 is done with. But yes, if 900 goes any further, anyway, I think the price is extremely high. But if it goes any further, I think it will cause serious damage to the operators.
Okay. Now, Sanjay, just taking a leaf out of your answer, we were speaking to S&P a couple of days ago, and they mentioned that they have, without any doubt, factored in a price rise from the telcos because the debt levels go up 18-20% in their assessment for all the key mobile operators, and that will be compensated in part by a price hike that the companies will be able to take. Now, do you expect the price hike to be substantial, and will it be easy to pass it on to the consumers?
I think there is no doubt in my mind that price rise will be done. How substantial and how gradually is determined by the market dynamics. There is no doubt that there are multiple players in the market, and also there is no doubt that the services in the market are completely commoditized. The networks really look bad at the moment, and no matter which operator is serving the customer is not getting his money's worth because the quality and grade of the network, both on voice and data, really are bad. I think for operators to be able to recover a price rise, they will first have to invest and recover the service and the quality of service from the customers before any substantial rise can happen. In the meanwhile, some rounding off corrections can happen, some more discounting can go off the table, and they can see some upsurge in prices. But if under the current circumstances and the poor quality of network, if substantial rise on prices was to happen, I'm sure customers are going to retaliate.
Okay, a couple of other things really. I mean, there were fears, Romal, that some of the players might have to forego the 900 megahertz band in some circles as bids were getting aggressive. Now, do you see the risk of Idea or an RCom letting go of the 900 spectrum? Because on day 6, Gujarat and UP must-win circles for Idea did not see any further price rise.
Yeah. So see, there's always a risk of that happening, but I think the operators will not let that happen unless they have a backup spectrum. So some of the operators have 1800, so they will. I mean, if that's the worst come scenario, but in my view, especially where they have the license and they would try to hold on as far as possible, because the cost of moving even to a new band, for example, there is a lot of capex involved. The other spectrum band is not going to be as efficient. So there will be a price point at which they will give up, but mostly what my view is that they will try to hold on as far as possible. So it probably has reached its limits, because that's why you don't see any more bidding happening now.
Sanjay, as per reports, there is some activity pending in 1800 megahertz as well as 800 megahertz, mostly in select circles with, contiguous spectrum. Could this an 800 band be the next area of action, according to you?
Yes, undoubtedly. I think if 4G is the path that the industry will pick upon, then 800 megahertz is a very potent band of spectrum, and before really 700 comes in, I think serious operators, long-term operators would like to amass the 800 band in their repertoire of spectrum, and I think it'll be a differentiating spectrum on 4G services. We are all aware that data gets consumed by and large indoors as opposed to outdoors. And for that, a 800 megahertz band is lot more potent than a 2.3 gigahertz or 1800 megahertz can ever be. So very clearly, I think this is a band that people will begin to take seriously. The only issue is the contiguity of this band. There aren't too many slots which are contiguous, and if the band is not contiguous, then you cannot give the desired service that is required.
Which is true, and I guess which is why that 800 megahertz demand in AP, Delhi, Maharashtra, probably even areas like Assam and Mumbai, where the contiguous spectrum was available, probably saw some aggressive demand as well. And Romal, just taking Sanjay's point further, do these auctions give you the sense as well that 4G is the area of focus for the telcos, that they're kind of seemingly giving 3G a bit of a miss?
Yeah, so I would agree with Sanjay, because I think there are two reasons also, right? I mean, 800 otherwise has not seen any bidding in the past. So if any 800 bidding has happened, it's purely because maybe the reason is to move towards 4G LTE. The second bit is because you only have one band within 2100, right? One block. That would have just made the pricing very, very aggressive, and also maybe not necessarily have achieved the desired results. Right now, if you look at some of the telcos, they already have pacts with each other, and therefore are able to provide 3G services across India. So I think they would rather continue with that rather than just fight for one piece of one block as such, and of course, and have more debt on their balance sheet. So I think that's the reason why it seems like the 800 bidding that they're moving towards the 4G path as such.
Sanjay, one final question. What's been your take on Bharti's tie-up with China Mobile? Where is that tie-up leading?
I think China Mobile is one of the pioneers on the LTE deployment and rollout. They've really gone very aggressive on it because they were not strong on 3G in their country. China Unicom was. So I think they picked up the LTE path to roll out broadband and wireless broadband in China. And from such like alliances which are not truly financial alliances, I think there's a lot of sharing that you can do. You can learn from each other's experience, and I think this is what will come out of it. I don't think we should expect a lot more than that. There can't be any great physical synergies, although operators do talk about it to say they'll go joint on purchasing, etc. I've not seen that being realized in the past, but if they can make it happen, if there are synergies that they can draw out of that relationship, it will only be accretive. So there's nothing dilutive in that partnership, in that alliance. I think it can only do good to a company like Bharti.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.